does he have to use the same attorney?
No, you can switch. The attorney is always your choice. You can always switch attorneys if you want, in or out. And that's the nature of this business. We get files pulled from other law firms to come here, and we get files pulled from us to go to other law firms as servicing or ownership gets transferred. It's the nature of the beast.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I think for me is, you know, we avoid New York for multiple reasons. One of them is the foreclosure process, right? But this gives a loophole way to talk about things, and open up that angle of let's explore it. Let's see if those loans are worth it, and see if we can negotiate because the time frame changes. Making sure the numbers are there, make sure, you know, obviously we know our 23andMe situation and be good with that. So is it, you know, when these things take place, the clients you work with, is there anything that they need to do differently? The servers need to do anything differently? Is pretty much everything to start the process and manage the process the similar as in state court?
No, it's not. The steps are different. So it depending upon, not all servicers are equipped to handle federal court cases. And I can tell you, when we board a portfolio for our clients with a servicer who is not who doesn't have a federal process in place, it's a lot more work for us because, for example, there's no mediation. Let's start with that, and the time frames are different, and the billing is different. The billing steps are different.
Okay.
So if anybody wants to use us and hasn't yet picked the servicer to handle the servicing process of it, we could let you know who we're working with, who is equipped for federal court and who's not. Not all of them are.
Okay.
So I have a list here actually that I'm looking at on my other screen where there are about a dozen or so New York loans, which I immediately just put at the bottom of the pile. I'm not interested. However, this is an interesting twist. So like in the comment section on the tape, it says that a complaint has been filed. So I'm assuming that's going to be state court. So then if I was interested in pursuing that, would I just have them cancel that foreclosure and then I can restart it with federal?
We'd have to look at it on a case-by-case basis. So if you
Okay.
wanted to talk with us about those specific files, just give a ring after the video is over. We'll be happy to chat with you. There are things that we could advise you to do based upon what the status of the case is and where it is, and it may not even be worthwhile. So if it's not worthwhile, then I don't want to take a case.
Yeah.
Just for the sake of taking a case. It's not going to help anybody.
Lance, is there a way for us as investors to know which servicers are federally qualified? Is there some way to find it out?
Yeah, but I wouldn't take it as my responsibility to advertise for any of the servicers. So this is something I'd be happy to discuss offline with anybody who's interested.
We use different servicers for all different reasons, right? If I need a workout, if an REO, I'm going one. If I want automation, simple, easy. If I want something where I can work the file myself, I go to one servicer. So we all pick our server based on that. This would be an angle where if this thing looks like it's going foreclosure, I'm going to switch to that servicer so I can utilize the foreclosure federal process.
A lot of our clients do that, where they have a hands-off servicer and they manage the process in-house, and you just have the servicer for compliance reasons, and that's okay. And you can generally expect you're never going to have the volume in federal court that you will in state court. So it's good to have, I think somebody who went skiing or snowboarding. Somebody
I did this morning. Yeah.
All right. So you're going to have different equipment. You're going to wear different clothing for snowboarding than you will for skiing.
Yeah.
And the equipment is very different, and you have one for one purpose and one set of equipment for the other purpose. Mm-hmm. And the same thing applies to foreclosures. Not every servicer is good for everything. Not every lawyer is good for everything. Not every accountant is good for everything. Mm-hmm. So if you have an arsenal, you use the best for the job at hand.
And your firm, you just cover New York?
That's enough, I think. As I said again, I started off with a full head of hair. Look at this. Clumps. It falls out in clumps.
Yeah.
So okay. Yes, we're just New York. That's
very interesting.
So
Do
I
you
hope we
know
can.
other attorneys, without naming names on the video, that do what you do outside New York, say in, the most common states are like, Ohio's a long time period, but Florida is depending on the loan situation. Do you have contacts that we can reach out to share and say, listen, this is the person ideally that work in those states?
We can get you that information by asking
Awesome.
our clients who have files in those states who handle federal court, because yeah, absolutely. And there are some very good attorneys in the area. And again, it's the bigger firms are good for the very, very large volume of files. You buy a pool of 500 Fannie Mae files, you're going to need a firm that can handle that volume. But you buy 2-3 files for federal court, you're going to need a sharper knife.
Very interesting.
For lack of a better metaphor.
So in this case, the unicorn is real. That's really interesting.
The unicorn is real. The unicorn is real, and you're welcome to come and pet the unicorn. He's friendly. And it's again, it's not for every file, it's not for every investor.
Right.
But when it works, it's absolutely incredible. One of our potential clients on it, we were interviewing to take over a portfolio, and they asked us for timeframes, and I had no idea that the timeframes were that quick. I thought everything was around I was just typically quoting 12 to 18 months. Yeah. And we ran through the system, and we had a stack of files that were 6 months or less, even just by a few days, but less than 180 days, which is unfathomable in New York, because you're not even getting into the mediation process.
Yeah.
By then, you're not even in court. You're not even in the court's parking lot by the time that takes place.
Yeah. Wow, that's fascinating. So then, what do you see coming down? You mentioned it a little bit before, but maybe just expound on a little bit. Are you seeing, are you foreseeing an increased amount of delinquencies coming up, coming out of COVID and everything else?
Let's take a look. Hold on one second. I'm looking at my bad news. Oh, the market's up almost 800 points. I wonder how that happened. Well, it's the rates. The Fed has made it clear that the rates are going up. I don't know if anybody still has adjustable rate loans, but that's certainly going to impact. I don't think anybody in the industry has a clear handle on the number of delinquencies. Some people have estimates, but we haven't seen the floodgates opening up here in New York. Just as an aside, there was a problem in New York. The notices that we send out to start the foreclosure are 90-day notices, and a local state court judge had ruled that the 90-day notice, it's a complicated decision, but essentially there can't be anything else in the envelope with that 90-day notice. Mm-hmm. So the servicers and the lenders had to go and restart the processes all over again. So mm-hmm. the moratorium ended January 15th, but it didn't. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So the moratorium ended probably until May or June, because an untold number of defaults had to be redeclared. So,
are you guys seeing an influx yet? Are you seeing the numbers change?
No, because of this 90-day notice problem. So we've gotten some in, but some of the lenders and services are holding back on referrals until after the defaults are redeclared again with the new letters. That swamped them. They pulled. I think they were having they were having the house cleaning crews coming in to get the stuff done. It was an all hands on deck situation for most companies, and it distracted them from doing the other work that was necessary. And it's just starting now. But again, we don't handle the big. We're not Fannie or Freddie attorneys, and our clients tend to be a little bit smaller and much more nimble.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, Lance, I think the knowledge is awesome. It's one of those things that we hear about at conferences, hush hush talk, conversation, and most people probably knock it off as something that just doesn't work, right? Maybe they had one file, it didn't work for them, so the unicorn is not real, right? And what you come to find out is that it is real for certain particular cases, and knowing those particulars are important. But you can save time, you can save money, in the long run, that's what we're looking for. Good returns, return that capital fast as possible, and the bonus is by following federal court, you're probably gonna get a mod faster because most borrowers can't get the attorney in place to do the federal. And that's another win-win situation for all of us. Keep them in the house as long as possible, get them paying, everyone's happy. So Lance, I think that the information is valuable. I appreciate you sharing with us. I think this is awesome stuff that people should listen to over and over again and be thinking about not putting, like me and Nathan have done, the New York assets at the bottom of the list because we don't want to deal with 1.5 2 years of foreclosure where we both could be in a spot where we can easily file these situations where I'm in Jersey, he's in Canada, we have nobody in New York. It would work out really, really well for us. So
Yeah.
I appreciate you and your team for jumping on a Friday afternoon and spending a little time with us.
A pleasure. Thank you so much, guys, and everybody else for tuning in. And I hope this was helpful for everyone. If there are any questions, you can email me directly. Is my email address on there?
No, you can definitely speak it. We'll share it to whoever needs it to.
Fantastic. The email address is simple. It's Lance, LANCE, at NY, like New York, F as in Frank, C as in cat, law, LAW.com. Lance at NYFClaw.com. Clever, huh?
That's clever. Very nice.
It works. Lance, again, I appreciate
Gentlemen, thank
you for joining in and sharing some time with us.
Thank you so much for having me.
You bet. Thank you.
Take care, guys. Bye.